Music is a spiritual thing. You don't play with music. If you play with music, you will die young. Because when the higher forces give you the gift of music, musicianship, it must be well used for the good of humanity.
This man created this genre of music on his own.
There is no other Afrobeat star that comes close to Fela's creativity or stature within the music.
Everybody you say ayakata.
When we talk about fathers in terms of entertainment, I think this person tops it all. And who are we talking about?
We're talking about arguably the most influential and the greatest musician to have ever come out of Africa.
Absolutely.
His name is Fela. He was born Fela Ransom Kuti. But most people just know him by that singular name, Fela. But his name was Fela Aníkúlápó Kuti.
His name was Fela Aníkúlápó
Kuti.
He changed it to Aníkúlápó eventually, yes.
Welcome to TJ's World Entertainment. And
my name is Titi Jacobs. My friends call me Lady TJ. You're welcome. And this is Mr.
Jerry Crescent, Mr. Magic. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
Like Lady TJ aptly said at the beginning of this program, we are looking at the father of all musicians.
I'm telling you.
When it comes to musicians in Africa.
Yes, artists in Africa.
This guy was born on the 15th of October 1938 in Abeokuta, yes, to mid-affluent
family. Yes, the father, Reverend Israel Ransom. Remember that?
Okay, Ransom Kuti.
Ransom Kuti was a principal. He was quite influential.
I think he was the first. He's the chairman of the Principal Association.
I think so. Yes, he was. But he was noted for what he did. If you remember what he did when the Queen, I think the Queen came to Nigeria, and they were asking people to take off their hats and everything to salute it wasn't even the Queen. It was I think the banner.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it was the banner, and he refused to do that, and then they stabbed him in the face.
Oh, okay.
You were not aware of that.
No,
that was that was
actually.
when they felt that he was an activist. He must be an activist. But his mom, his wife, Fela's mom, was a notable activist. Everybody knew Mrs. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. She was I think she was a women's leader.
Okay.
She was a women's leader in Abeokuta, and she was an activist.
Okay.
You understand? And I think that's when Fela got all those, the wherewithal to be able to fight injustice.
Fela had brothers, and their father died when Fela was still a teenager. Mm-hmm. And I think the mother now, because she was pretty influential, she was a pretty tough, strong woman. So sent the other brothers, who is Olikoye and Beko, right, to the United Kingdom to study medicine, and with the hope of sending Fela. Fela actually had affinity to playing the trumpet. It was his favorite instrument, trumpet.
As early as 8 years old, when he was quite young.
So when Fela got to the United Kingdom to study music, I don't know, by act of omission or commission, he decided to change, and he became someone who went to Trinity College to go and study music.
Yes.
And whilst he was studying music in the United Kingdom, he formed a band, and they were playing gigs in clubs and things like that all over. Yeah. And that was when he met his wife.
Yes.
He met his wife,
yes,
right? That is Remy.
Yeah.
Remy Taylor.
Yeah, Remy Taylor.
Who he married. When Fela now went back to Nigeria, Fela, worked with the Nigerian Broadcasting Organization as a producer, and they had a band. There was a studio band, because I can still recall the band, the studio in we call it BH. BH is Broadcasting House in Ikoyi.
Yeah.
Okay. And Fela now formed, he called his band the Kula
Lobitos, yes.
And the Kula Lobitos, Fela's idea of music was merging jazz music and high life music, because high life music was prevalent in Nigeria then, especially in Lagos. Yeah. The likes of E.T. Mensah and the rest of them, Victor Olaiya, all came, they were playing high life music. Yeah. So Fela now started playing high life music, and it was while he was having Kula Lobitos, he had sounds like Alagbara, the one that goes, oh, Nifi Ajemi, Biyami Mamo, and some other ones. And I think he now left production to go with music per se.
Yes.
And his first port of call where settled was Kakadu Hotel.
Yeah, Kakadu in Yaba.
Alagomeji.
I still remember that. I was very, very young. I used to live in Alagomeji. So I remember that Kakadu very, very well.
Right. It was while he was in Kakadu that his music started taking off little by little. And then I don't recall whether he had actually left Kakadu when he now went to the United States in 1969. They were in Los Angeles.
Yes, he went, and he still had that band,
Kula Lobitos,
and they were becoming really, even when he was in the UK, they were becoming really, really popular. Okay, you understand? But they were more popular with the white people though,
right?
Because they really got the music, they understood the jazzy part of his music.
Okay,
because the reason why he had to leave, if you remember, was because people did not understand the music in Nigeria. Okay, and his mom told him then that, look, listen, you have to play the songs that your people understand.
So Fela went to the United States. He was in Los Angeles, and that was where he met the woman who will completely, change his outlook to life. That's Sandra.
Yes.
Sandra now introduced him to the writings of people like Stokely Michael, who later on married Maria Makeba, Hugh Newton, because Sandra was a member of the Black Panther movement in America.
Yes.
And we introduced him to the writings of Malcolm X and the likes of Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes.
And Kwame Nkrumah then was actually making waves in Ghana.
But Kwame Nkrumah was very close to Mrs. Ransom, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, according to information gathered. Okay.
Now, there has not been anybody in this whole politics in Africa. Only two people have walked on the streets to follow people to where they are going. Nkrumah and my mother. What are you talking about? All this nonsense that you have hanging around here. They sit down in cars, man. This government threw my mother out of window, Mrs. Fumilayo Aníkúlápó Kuti, who fought her blood for this country on the streets.
Okay. They were quite close because he was a very big activist in Ghana, and Mrs. Fumilayo too was.
Actually, he was already president in Ghana.
Yeah, but he was an activist still.
So, and then Fela now, when in course of the conversation with Sandra now realized that he was singing about things like Egbe or Bear, and because if you all those kind of music, and I say there are lots of things happening to the black people all over the world, and you are busy singing about Egbe or Bear.
When I met him, we had an idea. We agreed upon something, and that thing that we agreed upon, that he was going to use his music to teach that we could help the whole world if we just tell the truth in music.
Alagbara and the rest of them. So with the advent of this reading, Sandra opened his mind. That was when he became a strong Pan-Africanist.
Yes.
He now became a fighter for the oppressed people, not only in Nigeria but all over the world.
Yes.
Now he had a problem with his promoter, so he quickly did the early pieces, which is the album that he got. Then he came back to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I think he renamed.
We forgot to say that he had these kids.
Oh yeah, he had kids. I mean, obviously.
Femi.
Yeah,
Kuti,
when he married, he had kids.
Yes. He had Femi Kuti, and then he had Shola. you know, and Yeni. I think Yeni was the first one.
Yeah, Yeni is the first.
And then Femi.
Femi came, and then Shola came.
But of course, he had another son called Sheung.
But that was way later.
Yes, but
it was way
kids. I'm just saying he had four kids.
Way later.
Anyway,
Fela now changed the name of the band to Nigeria 70.
Okay.
And Fela's music took a completely different complexion.
You see, when you are revolutionary and you talk the truth, people will come and slap you down. Then you talk the truth again, they lock you in jail. Then when you are very strong and you talk again, they may kill you. They may even burn your house down, like they burnt my house down at home. Now, when they burn my house finish, some friends who are very, Africans know they are very afraid of life. Hey, fella, yourself, don't talk truth again. You see, they come and tell you not to say the truth again. Then I tell them and say, them never hear anything at all. Then go hear pansa pansa.
During this time, the pieces were becoming longer. They were syncopated, multi-layered orchestral kind of music. Because if you sit down and listen to Fela's music, you find out there's something happening underneath at any given point in time.
All the time.
And this it took from, you know, when you listen to an orchestra playing, there's always something happening. Now Fela took that, you know, and then married it into his music, where you have the horn section going, you have the percussion going, you have the string instrument going, and all what
do you know the beauty of this? Fela was a perfectionist.
Oh yes, he was.
And according to information gathered and what I've heard and what I've seen, Fela would not start anything until he's absolutely certain everything is in tune.
I have on numerous occasions seen Fela live on stage. The music starts, something is going on. Hey!
Yes.
He turns around, he stops the music, and he picks on the person who is actually playing the discord, and then sets it right, and then starts all over again. That's how a perfectionist.
That's a wonderful way. He's a perfectionist. He was. You understand? I say he is because whether he's gone or not, his music lives on. And
now, Fela's music haven't taken this live, you know, how would I call it? I want to find the appropriate word for it, but anyway, haven't found his forte. He now changed his lyrics and he became a fighting music.
Yes.
It's a political fight because he was a multi-instrumentalist, he was a composer, he was an arranger, he was a Pan-Africanist, he was an activist, he was everything.
He was a revolutionary.
He was revolutionary, very charismatic. Well,
yes.
And in the African, especially in the Nigerian setting, there was bound to be a collision caused between Fela and the authority.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because he clamped down on them so much with his music and his purpose. He got to a stage where we felt his purpose was just to let you know that these people are not good. These people are, they're trampling
on the people.
On the people, you understand? And the thing is, everything that Fela sang about.
Oh, it's all coming, still coming true.
It's happening today.
He's been there for how many years now? Over 20-something years?
Yes, and it's still happening today.
Happening.
And it's so annoying because, what would you tell me? If Fela was still alive today, what do you think he would be doing, or what do you think would be happening if Fela was alive today?
I don't think Fela would have been alive today with the way he was butting head with the government.
Mr. President, from the portion you have just read, it was the view of the Lagos State government that Dr. Bekor and Fela Kuti and other victims of the atrocity perpetrated that day be compensated.
Well, it is also, if that is the view, and Lagos State government has set up a commission of inquiry, and it has a white paper on it and a memo on it, then it should implement it.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. President, it's in the petition before this commission of inquiry that on that day, apart from the several arrests that were made, the burning of Fela's house or the family house, their 77-year-old mother at the material time was thrown out of the window and died shortly thereafter.
Okay.
He probably either would have been killed,
Yeah.
or he would have been forced to go into exile.
Yeah.
But his lifestyle would have made it completely impossible for him to live in exile and still conduct that lifestyle he was conducting when he started the Kalakuta Republic, which was an enclave, a republic within a republic.
Yes.
And the authorities didn't take kindly to that.
That's one question. Another question I'm going to ask you, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Make comments, because this is very important. Fela is our own. We know him. Everyone loves Fela. Because there was a time that Fela started a movement.
Movement of the people.
And he actually wanted to become the president of Nigeria.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
And quite honestly, I must confess to you, even then, I would have voted for him. I would have voted for him because I didn't have that mindset of what the community, everybody, society were saying about, he smokes, it makes people smoke marijuana, the girls are leaving their homes to go and stay with him, they're prostituting and doing all of those things.
Which was a misconception.
Yes.
Because in the early 70s, right, we were a fiery brand of Nigerians who wanted the best for our country.
Absolutely.
And Fela was a rallying point for those of us who were looking for answers.
For change.
Answers. So we all rallied around him, and the authorities didn't like the fact that he was opening our minds. Yes. We were becoming,
enlightened.
Aware and enlightened.
Yes.
So they, out of their own stupidity and jealousy, decided the best thing to do was to
nip it in the bud.
Cut off the head of the snake.
Yes.
They tried.
They did, because if they did it, Fela went to, he was arrested almost 200 times.
Yeah, over 200 times.
You understand? On
trumped up stupid charges that he was smoking. He smoked Igbo.
Yes.
Girls were running to Kalakuta Republic.
And of course, girls were doing that.
Oh yeah, girls were doing this. You see, what we always fail to address in our country is there must be a root cause for your daughter, right, to take off, or your son to take off from your home. This, you are the only parent they've known from inception.
And there must be something going on.
They get to a point and then they run away to go somewhere else. What are you as a parent doing that is making your children not rally to you?
But it could be peer pressure. It could be peer pressure.
Peer pressure as well.
What he was doing was
But everybody held him responsible.
They held him responsible. They felt like if the children run to you, you can always contact the family to say your child is here. But it was just.
But it was a place of succor. It was a place of succor for these kids.
Solace.
Soccer,
Yes.
And Fela, over the years, like he said, he had a lot of bands, changed them from Africa, from Nigeria 70. He did change to Africa 70. Egypt. Yeah. That was when they killed Anwar Sadat. Yeah. Then he now changed to Egypt. From Egypt, he now became 70. Africa 70 and things like that,
and Kalakuta Republic, all of this, and then the shrine, because that shrine is still there today.
The shrine is not the original shrine.
Of course, the legacies lived on, and Femi just continued from where.
Fela started from Kalakuta. Fela came down to Montgomery Road, where Akedairo had his just by the
studio,
the psychiatric hospital there, Yabao, the main bus stop. From there, I think he left for Surulere nightclub. From Surulere nightclub, he now came down to Empire Hotel, where he then moved to Ikeja.
So he's moved round. But where he would have stayed was that Kalakuta Republic. Unfortunately, The government clamped down on it,
It
burnt
burnt the place down.
threw the mother.
And that resulted in the death of
his
mother.
mom, because it threw her from the window.
But if you look at Fela's albums, the lyrics and what he was saying about what government, if you look at tracks that he has released over and over again, over the years, at one point or the other, Zombie, for instance.
Yeah.
Not go unless you tell him to go. Zombie not go stop unless you tell him to stop.
If you are not a zombie, they will not just tell you go and scatter
Go and
this
kill,
place
go and kill.
and kill this place or kill these people.
Because, my brothers, what is happening in Nigerian prisons is nothing short of Nazism. What they were doing in the concentration camps in Germany in 1940. I saw it with my eyes. They were flogging boys, 8 in the morning, 24 strokes. They put sand on the body before they flogged them.
So unknown soldier.
Unknown soldier. When things happen, we don't know who has done it.
I like more clothes.
So many.
Expensive shit.
I'm listening to the top 500 albums of all time and rating them. Coming in at number 402 is Fela Kuti's and Africa 70s album, Expensive Shit.
No, I like that Expensive Shit because the story behind Expensive Shit was the story behind it was the fact that he was caught and they said he swallowed drugs and they were trying to make him do a number 2 so they could.
So his shit became expensive.
His shit became expensive because they were waiting. They spent so much time, people waiting for him to go to the toilet, but he never did.
Then you have things like equalization of pant and trouser. You have things like stalemate.
Yeah.
You have songs like Trouble Sleep, Yanga
Wake Up. You know, Suffering and Smiling.
You don't have to smile in a bad condition. That is making the matters worse. That is going into slavery. You see, because our condition is not a condition of smiling. So I write a tune called Suffering and Smiling, you see. And it's doing very well. As a matter of fact, I think it's my biggest hit now, for years. It attacks the religion, you know. It uses this religious thing to go and attack the ills of our society, to see why the things happen, why the police brutality, army oppression, you see.
Smiling.
Go slow.
That's slow, go slow, go slow, go slow.
That was where the Oju Elegba, you know.
I mean, it's still everything that
Oju Elegba is still where it is today.
It's still there. Everything that this man sang about, you know,
Fela,
trying to make us understand what's going on in the country, is still very much there.
Fela was a prophet.
Yes.
He
was an icon.
I was speaking with my director before we got into it. He says, these people who smoke these things or do drugs, they have a way of projecting into the future.
Yes.
And coming up with something that actually comes through at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All the things that Fela was singing about are still what
obtains
in Nigeria today. So that music he was using as a weapon to forge awareness, a weapon to educate people, a weapon to change people's mind, a weapon to open your eyes, and challenge you.
Yes, but the government didn't like that because it was opening up the shit. If I want,
of course,
it was opening up everything that they were doing.
Beast of no nation.
Yes, it was showing us. International tips. He talked about Abiola. He talked about Obasanjo.
Yes.
He even took the coffin. You know
that was after his mother's death. Coffin for head of state.
Yeah, so he went and presented the coffin to the head of state.
Then I want to take him, but then take him.
So you see, Fela is just an icon.
Fela is an icon. Yeah.
So this is Fela Kuti, Fela Aníkúlápó Kuti. That's him here as well. It's like my hero. You know? Like the best musician I ever lived. And then
like Mandela, bumping Fela on the Puma jet, like we from Lagos, man.
Listen, even here in the UK, when they do anything about Fela, remembering him, and everything, I'm always there because
Yeah,
I love
a
his
few
music.
musicians have actually come through, not much, but
Yeah.
some of them, people like Delicious Simi, people like Dede Mabiaku, and a few, and I think there's this Brazilian band, I think Antibalas or something like that is their name. They play Afrobeat. I think my director will look for them and showcase one or two of their
But the
tracks.
one that for me, as far as I'm concerned, I think Sheung actually took after the father much more. His mannerism, the way he sings, the way he dances, everything it's just like a replica of Fela. You understand?
Fela will, like he says, Aníkúlápó, which he says, I'm going to chart my own destiny. I don't think Fela will ever die. Fela's music will continuously live on. Fela's music will still influence people.
So many people.
And it's a shame that in Nigeria today, the Afrobeats, my pronunciation is Afrobeat, which is Fela's creation.
Yes.
And it's Afrobeats. I don't know who decided they were going to use that S and add to Afrobeats, and which is making a lot of people not differentiate between Fela's Afrobeat and the Gen Z generation of Afrobeats.
You see, the Gen Z generation, the difference between them, because they tend to sing a lot of songs and sometimes you don't understand what they're saying.
They understand
the difference between the Afrobeat of Fela's songs making a lot of sense.
Yes.
To the Afrobeats
of
this Gen Z, of this generation, is that they don't make no sense.
Now, why I'm going with my thought was that even in Nigeria today, they hardly play Fela's music on radio anymore. You see, the like in this place, you have specialized radio stations who specialize in certain genre of music. But in Nigeria, everybody is just following the Gen Z. They're not really playing Fela's music per se. And there are tracks and tracks of Fela's music that people don't even know exist.
Yes, it's true.
Like you get sense and common sense, but you know wise at all. Things like equalization of pant and trouser. Those
There's
were
so
tracks.
many songs that I can't even.
I expect the radio stations to at least
continue to
play Fela's
at least
music.
for royalty.
For royalty, for education.
I
for
don't
awareness.
want to forget this. I don't want to forget the fact that Fela is the only, or was the only person that was able to marry 27 wives at the same time.
He did this to add credibility to these girls.
Yes.
Because they were talking all kind of rubbish about these girls and what these girls were doing.
Yes.
And to turn them from so-called club Fela girls into responsible adults and women. So he decided he was going to marry these women.
Then what changed when he came out of prison? Why did he divorce all of them?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
What changed?
Okay.
Because by then I have already left Nigeria, so I'm not privy to what was happening.
Yeah, but the information gathered was that we came out of prison and then he let them go. He actually divorced them. Whether it's true.
Maybe he did well, I can't hold these girls down
anymore.
indefinitely. They need to chart a course for themselves.
Absolutely.
They need to go look for themselves.
Otherwise, he will not be able to sleep with 27 women. He doesn't want to die.
Solomon did.
And then his package,
Solomon did.
Well, we don't know whether Solomon did. We knew he had concubines and everything. I'm sure 80% of the women he wasn't sleeping with.
Okay.
Anyway, the most painful part of it was the fact that Fela died so young.
He was at the age of 58.
And I would say, and people are saying that, I mean, the brother, Olukoye, was...
Olikoye was the Minister of Health.
Minister of Health, and he actually said he died from AIDS, complications.
Resulting from AIDS.
Yeah.
Another school of thought, which I'm going to explore, it's a little bit controversial, was that he was killed.
But clearly when Fela called me, when he tell you, Sheung. Yeah, I tell Sheung and me. He say, they took me something. Bill, I said they took me something here. And this one a true talk. Later, We started seeing the degenerate state of his health. We started seeing the level at which things dropped. And we all know how it ended.
That he was injected.
Please make your comment.
I'm actually, well, if and when I go to Nigeria, I'm going to seek for the people who were actually present when he died.
What do you mean by he was killed? Killed by who?
Well, I will, like I said, I will find out. And you will be
because
the
that's
first
a
to
conspiracy.
know.
I think
because
that's
it's some sort of conspiracy theory.
The brother
but I'm going to go after some of the guys who were with him and interview them. And you will see these interviews.
Okay, no worries at all. But what we were told was that there was complications of AIDS, and I want to believe it was complacency. You understand? Because he was sleeping with so many women. Obviously, he may not have been using protection.
Of course, he wasn't.
And we don't know whether those girls too were also sleeping with other men. So obviously,
if we were to look at Fela's lifestyle per se, I think we will rip him to pieces. Absolutely. So we will not, because of who he is in terms of his music.
Yeah, we just want to celebrate his music.
The only thing I know,
with his lifestyle.
The only thing I know is Fela would have been way bigger than he is today if he had a management company that directed his movement all through. You see, these are the things they do to big African musicians. These same companies, the Deccas, the Philips, and of the world, who will have a management company put in place for the likes of the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and things like that. They were the same people who were signing our artists in Africa. I didn't put anything in place for them. Fela was a very, very strong character. Yes. He needed a strong management company behind him, well, right?
It would it have stopped him from dying?
No. Yeah. But at least it probably would have shaped his line of thinking. He wouldn't have been okay, he probably would have formed the Calcutta Republic, but the management company, knowing what entails when it comes to the legal implications, wouldn't have allowed those girls to be coming to one and live with him.
That's true. So there was a lot wrong somewhere, but we're not here to castigate him.
Oh, yes.
We're here to celebrate him, actually, because Fela, for me, was and will continue to be a legend.
You call him the Black President. Abamieda.
Aníkúlápó.
Omoyaje. And we call him Augustine because he has Ogo. So we used to call him Augustine. He had various names for him.
But he was a lovely guy.
He was a
lovely guy. And it's I personally am so happy that his kids, some of his kids
are turning out to be okay.
And they are following his legacy. So he's not dead per se because the kids are.
You can't die as long as you put music to vinyl.
Yes.
You'll never will die.
And I would forever, anytime I hear Fela's song, I must sing and dance to it because I personally loved him as a person. I loved his music so much.
So, long live Abamieda.
Yes, so long live.
This is where we say thank you very much.
Like, share, subscribe to our channel. Make comments if you think you've said total rubbish today. Please make your comments. You understand?
And where you think we have erred or done wrong, correct us.
Yes, please. We don't have monopoly of knowledge, especially when it comes to Fela.
However, when you follow us, you become more clever.
More intelligent. Thank you. Take care. God bless you. Real good. My name still remains Titi Jacobs, Lady TJ, and that's
Jerry Crystal, Mr. Magic.
Means they will hear more and more and more until they can hear no more, because the truth can never die.